Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Emergent Gamer Podcasts, episode 267. I'm one of your hosts, Neo Ayoshi, joined by Felix Hergood.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
How you
and
doing, bud?
Lock and Key.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing?
Good. I'm good, Felix. I'm good. I love your background today on the Twitch chat. That's twitch.tv/emergent_gamer for any of you audio listeners.
Yeah, somebody posted.
Pew.
No credit for me on this. Somebody posted on Twitter in response to the single image of what the Xbox Series X looks like. Their response was
the Series S.
Series S. I said not X.
Yeah.
Sorry, Series S. I misspoke. But they posted, my immediate response to their post is this. It just shows the picture that if you're listening to audio and you're not actually viewing us live, the picture is basically a row of dominoes with the Xbox Series S like being the lead as the one, and it's like one, and then another one that looks like two, and then three. It's just a series of fucking dominoes.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of really quality memes on it.
There's the Minion one from Despicable Me, which is perfect.
There's a cool SpongeBob one I liked.
Yeah, there's the dude from the other the little alien dude. I forget his name. The one from the other restaurant. Have one like of him. Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of good memes of it.
Yeah, I mean, it happens every single time a console comes out, but this one just is so bizarre looking, you know. But we'll get into that later. That's one of our things we're going to discuss tonight.
Yeah,
we're still discussing consoles, and we're basically going to discuss, you know, the new potential specs of this Xbox Series S, and then also possibly we'll get into some Nintendo later.
Absolutely. Let's get started real quick. I'll just talk about the one game I've like really tried this week, and then we'll hop into what you guys have been playing, which is something I really want to hear about.
Cool.
So I played this week Among Us. It's a small little indie game that came out a few years ago, but it's been getting really popular lately with like streamers and stuff, I've noticed. After playing it, I've essentially boiled it down to being a game of Clue, but more interactive and more like murder mystery whodunit. So it's like a combination of all that. And essentially it's a multiplayer game where you're like these little jelly bean people, kind of like Fall Guys. And one person is designated as the murderer. And that person is hidden among all the other players, and you see everybody on the map. And everyone's goal is to walk around like a little spaceship or whatever map it is and perform tasks on the ship. Pretend or like just like fix the ship or do whatever you need to do. And then by completing all the tasks, you beat the murderer. But the murderer's job is to walk around all secret-like and like kill the people on the ship without everyone else noticing and figuring out who it is. Because once you find a dead body, a person can call in a meeting and discuss it with everybody else in the room. And they all have to boil down like, oh, where did you see this person get murdered? Who did it? Like, where were they when it happened? And where was this person at this time of the murder? Like, it's pretty much like a Knives Out scene when you're trying to like figure out like who's got the alibi, like who has the right alibi.
To be careful there, you're totally referencing a movie that I didn't watch yet that you could spoil.
You have to watch Knives Out.
It's pretty solid. Yeah,
it's a fantastic movie.
Is it based on a book or like a?
No, it's an original.
It's just a murder mystery, and they just did it.
It wouldn't matter because it's fantastic as its own. So you should definitely watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I do recommend.
I definitely want to watch it. It's definitely on my list.
It's been really fun to watch. It's a cool party game for sure. Like you definitely want to play with a large group of people. So watching some of like the different streamers kind of cross their communities over to play. Some of the FPS guys have been doing it, like Ninja, Lupo, Courage, like all those guys have been doing games of it. Glad and some of the Destiny guys have been doing it. So it's been really fun to watch them, play this older game. One, so they get the developers get some recognition, right? Like their game just skyrocketed out of nowhere, which was huge.
It was a lot. I streamed it the other night, and honestly, it brought in like honestly a lot of engagement from people. The game is just fun to watch, and fun to watch people either get killed or like mess up getting killed, and or like be really good at being the murderer. Like it was a lot of fun to like. It just brings out a lot of really fun moments.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really glad it's like it's popular among the communities, and finally Quail told me to just pull the trigger and do it, and now everyone's playing it in the server.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We have a group of people playing it right now in our Discord as we record. My question is, did you find it boring in the times where you couldn't talk? Because like that's a big part of it, right? That like you're kind of in your own lane until you get the opportunity to kind of meet together and discuss. Like, did you find those downtimes a little bit boring?
Yeah, so the way we were playing it was like while we're all performing our jobs and mission and like tasks while we're in the game, we don't communicate with each other. Right. Because you don't want it to give away whoever the killer is. But once we initiate the meeting, like when you all go group meeting, we found a body, then everyone chimes in again, including the murderer. So like so like that person can lie through their teeth, try and trick everyone to think it's somebody else. And a lot of the fun actually comes out from those moments. But
right.
I don't know. I found a way to like talk to myself while playing, while I'm in.
Well, sure, right.
Kind
of like entertain yourself as you're going. Yeah,
but you're right. Otherwise, you're just kind of waiting for things to happen, right?
Right. I feel like it's a really good game to play with community engagement. Like if you're streaming it and talking to your chat as you're playing, right? Like versus like you're not streaming and you're kind of just like waiting, like, okay, who's gonna die next, so I could just get into this voice chat and we can start talking about it, because that's really where like the fun happens, right?
Which is absolutely true, and absolutely something that I did do. Nice. And it made it easier to like engage with people who are watching.
That's awesome.
Would I like this game?
I think it is a game that anybody would like if you are with a great group of people.
Oh, got it.
You know what I mean? It's not like.
And I think like 5+ people.
Like I enjoyed playing Jackbox when Neo brought that up, and he was like, "You should play that." And then I played Jackbox on my stream, and I had like viewers who were playing, and then I was playing, and it seems like a game that's similar to that.
And like Jackbox, that's a game that's only better with the more people you have. Like that game, more than 4 people for a Jackbox game is a good time. Like, but if you have any less or equal to that, then you're kind of like skating that line,
Yeah, like this, it's just like, subbing in, like playing Mario Party, right? You always enjoyed playing Mario Party with friends versus playing against bots, right? Like it's just the engagement of playing with other people, So getting into a party of 8 people and playing this like whodunit mystery, and then seeing people that are, really good at being the liar, and some people that are like really bad at being the liar, or people that are really bad at guessing, and that's where all the fun comes in. So I think anybody would enjoy it. So I'm interested to watch more of it. Hopefully I get to play it soon.
Hop in next time. I'll probably stream it again if all these people are down to.
We have a pretty good group going, so I'm sure there will be more games.
What's next, guys? What have you guys been up to?
Well, both Felix and I have played the Tony Hawk remaster, so Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Yes, I did.
I will just go really briefly because Felix will probably go more in depth because he's played it a lot more.
I went a little nuts on it.
Tony Hawk 1 and 2 were both games that I played a massive amount of as a kid, so there's definitely a large nostalgia factor that drove me to the purchase. But then it's also like a really good game, as I work from home, I take a lunch break usually when my son is sleeping, and it's like a good like game to hop in and play for like 30 minutes, like after I eat lunch, to just kind of go in and play a Tony Hawk level. Like I don't have to do much thinking. I get to listen to a great soundtrack.
It's going to be
best part, man.
Locke, it's going to be my next to MLB The Show. It's going to be my second game that serves that purpose.
Right. Yeah. It's just like a really good, like palate cleansing thing to just go and kind of escape from really quickly. Like I don't have to get ultra sweaty in Valorant. I don't have to like try and dive into a single player game and follow the story or like any of that, right? I just hop in and I do tricks and I try and complete the objectives, or I just literally just skate around and have fun and listen to the soundtrack. So I've only played the first level, which is the first level from Tony Hawk 1, which is the iconic warehouse map, which they beautifully remastered. And I guess the last thing that I would just say is if you're even on the fence of getting the game, you should absolutely purchase it.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna buy it.
It's just exactly what a remaster should be, right? Like where they did just enough to bring it to current generation means without taking anything away from the original gameplay experience.
Yeah, I agree with that statement 100%.
Like, the levels look incredible, the characters look incredible. It still feels the same exact way to skate. The soundtrack is still badass, with bringing everything back, and then
still got that Primus in there.
Yeah. It's
No cigars in there, right?
I can't remember the name of the Primus song that's in there, but I'm pretty sure that's the Primus song that was in there originally.
Yeah, it's great. The one thing that I will say is like in terms of like a skate game, I'm more of a fan of like the EA skate realism versus the Tony Hawk, but like that's where we got to because of Tony Hawk, right? Like, so what you're getting out of this. You're not playing something hyper realistic. You're doing obscene combos to try and get to a high score. Like you're doing all these manuals and these backflips and all these crazy things because it's the Tony Hawk game, right? It's still so much fun to play.
It's the really NBA Jam of fucking
God, that game's so good.
Skating games. I mean, that's what it is.
And it's the original too. Like this is where we came from. Like Tony Hawk 1 on PlayStation and N64, right? Like that was the first successful skateboarding game.
Mm-hmm.
And like EA Skate would not have come about. The realistic side of the skateboarding games would have never come about if it wasn't for these games. So it's really cool to see them like age themselves. Like you have an older looking Tony Hawk, you have an older looking Steve Caballero.
You have Riley Hawk.
You have Riley Hawk in it now.
His son is in the game.
Which I like. I grew up watching I still have the box sets of the Tony Hawk Gigantic Skate Park tour, which was them touring and going to skate parks because they actually went to a skate park near me in Jersey when I was a kid, and I actually went and watched them skate live. But it's just funny seeing Riley Hawk because in those DVDs, Riley's a baby, and like I know what he looks like as a newborn baby because I watched those DVDs, and now he's like I follow him on Instagram, and like he's in this skating game, and he's an adult now, so it's a weird thing. It's a weird moment, Yeah,
the game also features prominently some of the skaters that are going to be skating in our Olympics coming up in Tokyo.
Oh, wow.
Letitia. Her name is. Oh, I'm blanking on her last name, but it's Italian. But she's Brazilian, and she's one of the world class skaters. She's going to be skating if you can look that up, Locke, I can't remember. Letitia, I know her first name's Letitia, I think. And then, but she's going to be skating in the Olympics. Two of them, actually, two of the skaters that are in the game. The other one's Japanese. They're both going to be skating in the Olympics.
Buffani?
Yep. Letitia Buffani. Yep. I think it's Letitia, right?
Yeah, it's a Letitia, yeah.
Yeah, Letitia Buffani, yeah.
I mean,
she's gorgeous.
It's a great game, man. Like I said, I guess if you didn't play it as a kid, there might be something lost there. Like there might be,
like what's the point?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, Jay Prince is critical of it because he's an obsessed. You know how he is. He always likes something, and then whatever other thing is, he doesn't like it. But he's a big fan. I guess his first impressions came from Skate 3, Skate 2.
Which,
Skate
right,
3.
you can't.
That's the more modern variation of that, right?
It's apples and oranges, right? Like Skate, you actually have to do flicks with the thumbstick to do tricks, and like it's very difficult to do like a 360 flip down a staircase. But in Tony Hawk, you could almost do a 900 down a staircase if you wanted to. So it's like it's just not the same thing. You don't play Tony Hawk from like a realism standpoint. You could, and you could enjoy that, but like you wouldn't complete the levels because it's impossible to complete the levels by playing realistically, right? Like you're going to do a wall ride across an entire building and then do like a backflip off of it. Like it's just not real. But like if you play the games growing up, or if you just are looking for a game to just like escape and listen to a killer soundtrack, then it's well worth the price. And if you get it on PC, like I was saying earlier before we started recording, Epic Game Store, because it is an Epic Game Store exclusive, randomly gave me a $10 off coupon automatically applied, so the game was only $29.
So I am looking right now. I too have that coupon.
There it is, baby.
Yeah. So it's $30. It looks like.
Right.
With the coupon.
I thought that's
Right.
what he said.
I said 29.
Oh, 29. Oh, okay. I didn't hear the 9. I didn't hear the 9. Whoopsie.
But yes, it's still, regardless, full price or if you get the discount on PC, even better. But so like overall, what were your thoughts, Felix? I know you mentioned that you played a ton of it.
So my first and initial thought is this: despite you saying what you said about how easy it is to do some of these things, the first time I landed a 900 was surreal. Like the first time you do it after you like bail like 60 times, because it's really hard to do the 900 and some of those other special moves, right? To figure out the mechanic of skating is not hard. The mechanic of doing an ollie is not hard. That might be difficult in the game Skate, but in this game, doing your basic stuff like a grind or an ollie or something like that isn't tough. It's when you get into the complication of the special mechanic and then being able to like, how much special do I need in order to like, for the game to respond to me inputting the Mortal Kombat-esque like combination of buttons in order for that special. And then also the timing to do it at exactly the right height in the vert to make it come down and land. And then, that took a while. It took me a long time and a half pipe to figure that out, right?
It does. I am oversimplifying it. Like even doing some of the crazier combos, like just trying to juggle the manual wheel and the grinding wheel again is it's a concept that I haven't had to deal with for a while. So like trying to stay steady and not like mess up was pretty difficult. But
so I'm saying, so I'm here and it's like 12 o'clock. I finished playing Red Dead Redemption 2 with my buddy Jay Prince, and I get off. I said, I got the Tony Hawk here. I'll just fucking put it in, right? I'll play for a little bit.
I've got the Tony Hawk. Yeah. It's like having the Facebook.
Yeah, I had the Tony Hawk here. So I pop it in, and I'm like watching the cool video in the beginning that shows all the different types of skaters, and I'm like, wow, shit, man, this is taking me right back to when I used to play this shit. And then I get in, and I take his tutorial. Tony's tutorial, where you, as my friend Philly Special said, she said, "What? This isn't Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. This is Tony Hawk Paraplegic." She's a quadriplegic because she kept, her and I, when we were doing that tutorial, we kept putting Tony Hawk. You play as him in the tutorial. It's so funny. So he just keeps bailing over and over and over again. But anyway, you go through that whole tutorial, explains all the different things, and then you start doing moves and stuff like that, and then you go out and you do the warehouse probably first, because the warehouse is the first thing. If your choice is to pick Pro Skater 1, because they're both in there as if they are separate games, you could theoretically, if you were the bigger fan of 2, just go in and start playing 2 from the main menu. But I did 1 because I like order, 1, 2.
Fan of order, not
I couldn't remember either of them, right? I think the last Tony Hawk I played regularly was Tony Hawk 3? Was that the underground ones?
Dude, hold on really quickly before we go, because I was going to mention this before we moved off topic. Tony Hawk Underground is incredible. And if they remake Underground, I will be so damn excited.
Remind me.
It was the first one. Underground had the story element to it, where like you were an up and coming skater, and you were trying to break into the pro scene. So it was the first one that added like a story to it. No, I believe there was a Tony Hawk 3 before Underground.
Okay. So I don't remember what the last. I think I played Underground last, because what was the year of like Underground? Was that like 2002?
2003.
Yeah, 2002, 2003 was probably the height of when I was playing Tony Hawk on a regular basis. And then 99 was Pro Skater 1, 2001 was Pro Skater 2, I think.
So it was 1999 Pro Skater, 2000 Pro Skater 2,
Oh,
2001 Pro Skater 3, 2002 Pro Skater 4, and then 2003 Underground. So there were 4 Tony Hawks before Underground came out.
oh, so I think I only did 3. I think I was playing 3 on a regular basis. That lines up with the timeline perfect because you said that was 2001.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think I played 4. I think I played 3, because I went back to college in 2002, and that's where I was introduced to a bunch of people that I was friends with who were all skaters, and they were all big into watching, Jackass and what predated that, what CMYK or
CKY.
CKY. That's what I meant. Yeah, I think that was something.
You just
different.
made something up. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
CKY, all those guys, and everyone was obsessed with making and watching skate videos, and I was hanging out in alleys in Philly and with all these kids, and that's what we were playing. We were playing 3, I believe, because it had just come out basically the year before. Because that was
so three was like the last one that was like critically acclaimed, like massive headlines, and then it started to, I think, slip. Like 4, I don't think was as well
widely
received.
regarded. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I personally loved Underground because I loved the like, you're trying to become this up and coming skater, you're trying to complete missions, and then there were some like cut scenes I vaguely remember and stuff like that. So it was just I enjoyed that, but so yes, so yeah.
Somebody in our viewing audience just reminded me that CMYK is the color scheme of most professional printing.
Is that really? I guess.
Yes, I said
CMYK,
CMYK, right? And I meant fucking CKY. Oh, Jesus Christ, man, that's funny.
We had to break the fourth wall there. For
I had to, man, because that was too fucking funny, man. All right. God, I'm turning red from that. So, okay, so there are some things that I think just dates the game in terms of like they probably would have had to. They're probably gonna have to patch or overhaul the game for the modern expectation a little bit. Like, I'm not critical of the fact that this is an arcade style game. I enjoy the fact that it's arcade. It's like you said, Locke. It takes a weight off not having to think too hard,
Right.
And it's easy to play. However, and maybe you can help me come to a conclusion on this. I tried to do multiplayer with it, and I'm not happy with how that is, but that could be because of the current way we play multiplayer is different, and modern games design multiplayer in a different mindset. You can't do any kind of private rooms or free skates privately with your friends, and like I kind of expected that. Now I don't expect that like in Red Dead. I expect to be in the world, but with Red Dead there's a cooperative element to it where you're doing stuff together. Right, in a world with other people that you compete against, but you're still in a team or a group of people that like a posse or whatever. So in this game, I'm like, okay, me and my friend entered into the multiplayer as a team or as a party, and then we just kind of didn't do anything with each other at all. We weren't. It didn't seem like we were competing together at all. We were just competing against each other. Everyone was doing their own score, and we kind of got in this zone where we weren't talking, or even seeming like we were doing multiplayer. So I think if they made like a private match thing, also there's some try-hard kid in there doing 300K on like one combo. So you're like, what is going on here? Like, why do I have to play with all this?
Sounds like an internet game,
No, it's like it's clearly a game from that time period,
right?
In terms of its multiplayer design.
I just don't think that's like what it's meant to be.
Like the supreme experience that I had was playing alone with nobody else.
And I think that's what, I think what you're asking for is a good thing, but I think that would take infrastructure, would take time, would take money. So maybe they can do that for I would imagine a success of this means that we'll get 3 and 4 remastered.
Yeah, like a patch or something, or a good patch in the future. Maybe they could do it.
Maybe because like most of my fun came in Skate. came from building my own skate park and then playing it with my friend and skating together in the skate park.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But like that, I don't think that ever exists. Like when I played Tony Hawk with friends as a kid, like it was you try and beat the level, pass me the controller.
Pass the controller. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
exactly.
It was never a multiplayer together game.
Bare minimum, all I would want is, I think it's fine the way it is. I just wish we could choose what park we were playing in. We couldn't even do that. Like it literally put us into a playlist and just randomized the game mode and the park, and we couldn't pick anything. We couldn't customize the experience of what we were even in Battlefield or something like that. You have the ability to go, I want to play this skate park in this game mode, or you know what I mean, like that. And I was just kind of hoping that there would be some of that, and maybe there will be. Maybe they'll patch that in. I got heavily, and I love this. I got heavily into creating a skater, so I really enjoyed doing that. Oh, I love making skaters, man. And of course, I always make the female skater. I don't know. I'm a perv, I guess. I don't know, or something. But I had
a character is female.
I just had a good time making a skater and like accessorizing and doing all that shit. The only criticism I had about that was then I tried to do a couch co-op where me and Mrs. Felix both created skaters. She had to use her own Xbox profile. I used mine, right? Because that's how Xbox does it. And this could be an Xbox problem. But the weirdest thing happened. We both created a skater separately on our profiles. Then we were getting ready to play together. And when I was the main person who signed into the game, when she was added as like the additional Xbox player, she could pick her profile. But then when we went into created skaters, her created skater wasn't available. She can only pick from the ones that came with the game, which is Tony Hawk and all of them, and then mine to play, which was super weird to me. It seems like a small oversight, but like it completely doused water on our interest in playing. We were like, we both created skaters, but we both can't compete with our skaters.
Yeah.
What if she made her skater on your profile?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's dumb. I should have done that. We could do that. That's what we're ultimately going to have to do, right? I create a skater on the profile. She creates a skater on the profile.
It's probably because you're the account. She's the guest, so it's only looking at your account.
I figured it could have been an Xbox Live thing, but I mean, it's a minor concern. She did have a lot of. This is the first game I was able to get in a long time that she actually took a huge interest in, and because she used to play it when she was a kid. So it's going to be great to like just be able to play couch co-op, from time to time with Mrs. Felix.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's fun. I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was a lot of fun, and like I said, it's that good. In between, I got 30 minutes till dinner game. I'll just, and before that, it was mostly MLB The Show matches. Like I would just do baseball games and until dinner. And now I'm just gonna. I have a choice.
Now you're shredding.
Now I can shred.
Hell yeah.
And the minute I hit that first 900, dude, I was like, oh,
I'm in.
I gotta keep going. I played that fucking game until 5 a.m, man. That one night. I started at 12 midnight and played 5 fucking hours. Tony Hawk straight, dude. 5 a.m. It's crazy.
Sign of a solid game.
I didn't have to work the next day, so thank God.
Well, that makes sense. Cool. So we want to talk a little bit. We're not going to go too in depth just because of time constraints, but if you haven't heard, some major Xbox news has been released within the past 72 hours, and it's definitely worth diving into at least briefly. So I think the biggest thing is it started as a leak and then kind of snowballed and then became a full-blown statement from Microsoft, which was that they announced their pricing for their Xbox Series X, their top of the line next gen console, and then the Xbox Series S, which is their next gen console at a more affordable price, and that's really where the center of this conversation goes. Is the Xbox?
The price started as a leak, or the console started as a leak?
The Series S started as the leak because that didn't exist up until like 2 days ago.
Right.
It was rumored. But now it's never official,
right? So the Xbox Series S is coming in at $299, so $299 to get an Xbox Series S.
God damn!
Goddamn is right.
Yeah, goddamn is absolutely right. It's coming in. The footprint in terms of the console is minuscule in comparison to the beefy size of the Xbox Series X. So the Xbox Series S, excuse me, it's gonna tongue twister me, is what you would expect a console to look like. It looks more aligned with what the current Xbox looks like, and it's, you know, a pretty slim rectangle, where the Xbox Series X is this big, you know, rectangle tower thing, right? So the $299 price point is huge, right? Like getting into a console at $299 is an affordable price. But then we start breaking down into the specs that you're going to get for the Xbox Series S, which some of the big ones are, they're claiming 1440p gaming. So you're not quite getting 4K, but you are getting 1440p. So it's a step up from 1080p gaming. And you will be getting 1440p at least 60 frames per second, which is tremendous.
That all sounds good, right?
Yeah, so that's absolutely tremendous. You are still getting ray tracing and the custom designed SSD. So you're getting all of those things inside of the package. You will get upscaling for 4K, so it's not true 4K, but you will get upscaling, which will still make the pictures look prettier. So, you know, this is huge for the average gamer, because all of this for $299 is quite honestly absurd.
It's insane. Yeah.
Because, you know,
last week we talked about the 3070 being like an entry-level graphics card, which is promising 4K, straight up great 4K performance.
Right.
For what, $500? That was like a $500 card, right?
I think it is.
I thought you guys said 700 last week.
That's 3080.
Oh, that's
3080,
okay. That's a bigger one.
Yeah, but the 3070 is going to be something more aligned with the Xbox Series S. It's going to have more performance capabilities than the Xbox Series S. But we were talking about $500 being a great price point to get into PC gaming, and then, you know, Microsoft comes out of nowhere and, you know, drops the microphone and says,
"Let's undercut that again, motherfuckers."
It honestly does not. Trip, he's not here tonight, but he said this on Twitter, and it I can't let go of it. Is I have no idea how they're making money on this console. I honestly think they're losing money. They have to be losing money,
because on top of that, they're offering Game Pass, right?
Right. So yeah. So then you have Game Pass, right? So the Game Pass is going to be something that you could obviously get with this. They're now the price. Other huge news. Oh, sorry. We're going to say.
I was just going to say the price of that is not changing for me. I've been paying that price. The price is just changing for the PC. You guys had it at $5 a month. That's what I was reading, because it was in beta. So now the $5 is just going to be increased to what I already pay.
That's my understanding.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, which again, you know, yes, the $5 was an absolute steal, but even the full price for Game Pass is still
not bad.
Is not bad at all. No, not at all. So they just announced that by the end of the year, EA Play is going to be added into Game Pass. So that means all EA games, all, like, every single EA game
FIFA.
that you. Right. Yeah.
Goal.
And I was reading an interesting article about that. This could be a move by EA because they're not selling as many titles. Like, gamers are not upgrading each year like they used to. So by throwing it into Game Pass, they're able to get some revenue through microtransactions and some other things, because more gamers will play the latest as you know, the old ones are removed from Game Pass and the new ones are added, which makes sense. But
I'm gonna get the new FIFA. Fuck it.
You don't. Now you
don't need to.
Yeah, play it, right?
Yeah,
download it. Yeah.
So that's huge. And then they also announced financing options where you can get Game Pass Ultimate plus the Xbox Series S for $25 a month. So if you can't afford the $299 upfront cost and buy like a year's worth of Ultimate, you can finance them as a bundle over like 2 years.
There's probably crazy interest in that. You probably play.
Yes, there definitely is.
I would assume there is, right? Yeah. But again, you know, there's nothing wrong with them giving more options, right? I saw a lot of conversation about, like, you know, people getting over their head by financing this, which I think is bullshit. I mean, people make bad financial decisions all day, like them as gamers, you know, whatever. Them giving somebody an option to finance is whatever.
What
I finance my phone, right? Like I decide to buy my phone through
the
financing.
question? No, the question would be like, how's the financing? I would on the back end, like, what's the financing through? Like, what bank? Is it fucking Goldman Sachs? You know, like.
I don't plan on financing, so I don't have the info. I just know that it's going to be an option.
Yeah, no, I wasn't asking that question. I was speaking rhetorically in the idea that, like, before I even address that criticism, like, I'd want to know on the back end what kind of financial organization people are getting in league with. That's the issue. You know what I mean? It's not whether there is financing. It's just like how is it going to happen? You know,
right?
And is there something shady about that?
It's a good question. So, you bundle all of that together. So Xbox Series S plus Game Pass as a package is so much value is inside of that, right?
I would honestly say it is the best value you can get if you want to play the latest games at a high quality, at a decently high quality.
I would agree.
100%. Yeah,
I would agree. If they deliver 1440p at 60 frames per second, and even decent load times on an SSD, it does not need to beat PS5's load times. I know people will try and argue that, but this console does not need to do that. So if the load times are better than a spinning disc, which there's no way in hell they wouldn't be, and you can get
like that,
1440p at 60 frames, and then you have everything that's inside of Game Pass plus EA Play, you will never beat this value for the standalone gamer. That doesn't have a 4K TV, that doesn't see the value in getting some of the beefier specs in the Series X. Like for you, Felix, last week I told you there's no reason for you to buy an Xbox.
Did you change your tune? Oh my God.
Hold on. I still don't think you should buy an Xbox, but I would feel much better if you bought Series S than you did Series X.
I'm not getting
because you would be you're a perfect use case for the Series S. Someone that doesn't necessarily need to play in 4K, like you're just concerned about, some of these quality of life changes that you're going to get from it. I think this is going to be a huge mover over holiday. Like I see them moving a ton of units as gifts for first-time consoles, just in general. Like buying somebody a console for $299 is a lot easier to swallow than $599 or $499 or whatever, right? Yeah. So I think this is going to be a killer move this holiday, and I'm all for it.
Felix,
I'm all for it.
Which console did you say you would be more interested in, the S or the X?
The X would be just hubris, dude. Fuck that. I'm not. I would never do that. They've given me a choice. Are you kidding me?
Oh, of course. But I'm just wondering, do you ever see yourself dipping into getting a 4K TV for your game room or whatever?
No, and I currently don't run on a 4K TV. I mean, and I'm somebody that beats a TV to death. Like I'll literally use it until it just doesn't work, and then I'm like, oh, what do I got to do at like 2:30 in the morning on a fucking Monday? I'm like freaking out because my TV just shit out. And I'm turning to Mrs. Felix and I'm going, let's go to Target and find whatever bottom of the barrel bullshit they're trying to unload.
Damn, Felix, you literally would game in like Oscar the Grouch's trash can. You don't care how you would do it.
Exactly.
You play on a CRT TV.
I don't know about that, but that's not true either because for me, really what it comes down to is it's the software, the game, the story that I'm playing. If it's legible, if I'm getting the message of it, then I don't really care what the medium is and how I receive it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also agree to a certain extent. Like I've played in 4K, probably upscaled on my PS4, right? So it's upscaled 4K, and I've played.
You have a Pro?
I don't have a Pro.
Oh, okay. I don't think that's capable of upscale. Well, you're still getting a 1080p image. It's not upscaling to the 4K resolution. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So HDR, right, on my 4K TV, HDR, and I've played like Horizon, and it looks fantastic. Then I come to my 1440p monitor and I play a game, and it looks equally as fantastic. And I don't personally look at those differences and be like, oh my God, this is so much better. So even for me, like if I were to be like, I would go with the Series S. If I didn't have a PC And for me personally, there would be no reason for me to go to the Series X, because I don't even think I would see the value in that difference between the 1440p and 4K. I think the upscale 4K would look just as good to my eyes as a native 4K resolution would. On my current
Locke,
4K
let me tell you an anomaly that just occurred recently. I just noticed in a, what's it called again? What do they call them? A re-release, or they call them the new Arkham games, Return to Arkham Asylum and Return to Arkham City. I've said that I don't think I'd ever notice going from the old 360 to the new console when they remaster or re-release these games. I need to correct myself because it just happened to me last night. So remember we talked about how, the recommended order that you should play these games in is go with the release order?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why you shouldn't do that, and this is if you ever decide to play, is this. Arkham Origins has never been released in the current console gen, right? So it still has 360 processed graphics on it.
Mm-hmm.
I started with that. I played all of Origins, had a good time. Then I played Arkham Asylum, and obviously that was the first game, so I didn't really notice much of a difference between them. When I got to City last night, and this literally happened to me last night, noticeable difference between City, like in their remaster that they did, the texture remaster that they did is noticeable going from Origins to City, because
I was gonna say, like, I think that's noticeable, right? Like a remaster is going to be noticeable, but I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you took a game that came out and you put it on a Series X on a 4K TV and put a Series S on the same 4K TV and looked at the side by side, I don't know if I would see enough value change in the picture resolution to be like, yes, this extra $200.
Yeah, between those, but I'm saying what it took for me to notice something was an entire leap and a complete remaster going from one game to another. Like between two consoles. That's when I noticed it. Right. Mm-hmm. I don't think I would notice it fucking at all in the same goddamn generation being released on the same day, two completely separate consoles. There's no point in me buying an Xbox Series X. There's just no point. Like, not for my eye. Like, it won't.
I think that's targeting someone that is very concerned about visual fidelity, someone that's only buying a single console, or has a lot of extra, spendable money and can afford both. But I think they're really banking on affordable hardware and services. Like, I think that is the future of Microsoft.
That is how I think they may win this generation.
They have to release high-end hardware because they would look silly if they didn't, and PS4 was the only one offering high-end hardware, right? Or PlayStation. But like, that's not where the move is for them.
They're literally double downing on consoles.
On services, on
consoles and services.
Affordable games that anyone can, new games, like the newest releases, right?
Like, yeah, and I've said it since Game Pass was before on PC and it was just coming out, that I think it's the revolution. Like, I am the type of gamer that sees so much value in Game Pass. I don't like buying games at full value. I drop in and out of games so frequently that spending $60 on a AAA title that I'll never finish, is a waste of money for me. So then I don't end up buying as many as I would, and I won't get to try as many as I would because I just don't buy games.
I'm saving myself so much fucking money, dude. The amount of money I spend on games. Now, I still spend money on games, but those are the ones that are outliers, that are a part of like Ubisoft's collection. And Ubisoft isn't roped into one of these Game Passes, or it's such an odd duck game like CD Projekt Red games, like the new, like I'm gonna get those games, but like I'm spending considerably less money than I spent in previous years because I now have this Game Pass. Like,
yeah, you got the Netflix of gaming, man.
Yeah,
you have all these titles available to you. You can dip in and try games as you see fit. it makes a ton of sense. I haven't even really leveraged Game Pass as much as I could, and I still find immense value in it.
I would say on my console now, I have, I would say 70% of the games are Game Pass games, right?
Right.
And if I put a price on every single one of them and bought every single one of them, it's well over $120 in 1 year.
Right.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 2 titles, right?
Right,
It's
that's
like
2
2 or 3
titles.
titles, right? So as long as you're playing more than 2 or 3 games a year, right? Or
Which
you're
I am.
getting that much enjoyment, 2 to 3 games worth of enjoyment out of it. Doesn't mean you have to complete them. Then the value is already there, right? So, and as more and more, like EA joining this is huge, right? Like EA Play becoming a part of Game Pass is a big moment for Game Pass.
Dude, Ubisoft get under the fold, baby.
Because that gives
They're gonna do their own. I can feel it.
Like that gives way for things like, potentially Origins to go into that store, or Uplay to go into that store. They might not, but it shows that it's possible for someone that has another storefront to kind of join in. Like Origins would be a good example of that.
Yeah, actually, at E3 last year, Ubisoft did announce they will be doing their own Game Pass like service for their own games.
Right.
So a lot of these publishers will be going in the direction of kind of maintaining their own like service, just like Game Pass is essentially. Yeah.
And I think the smart move for Xbox, we talked about this a few weeks ago with the App Store, is like they've created their own App Store, right? Like Apple did. So, if it takes off, they're going to be the ones to say, okay, you want to join our storefront? All right, pay rent. You want all these gamers? Pay rent. They're doing the same exact thing that Apple did by creating this storefront. And you know how you get your storefront to be bigger? Well, you create a console that's pretty fucking great for $299 and you sell it to every kid for Christmas. Because all of those kids are going to get a year worth of Game Pass from another relative, or they're going to get 6 months or whatever. So it's going to grow, and I'm really happy about it.
Let me ask you guys this then: what does Sony have to do to? Because I don't think they haven't lost ground. Obviously, they're the top selling console maker right now. But what do you think they have to do to like kind of win over the hearts of a $299 price point, right? Like. With
first they need
games,
to make PS Now not a piece of shit like it is.
Yeah, sure. I think like they really, in my opinion, the only value for PlayStation is your first party titles. If they took away those first party titles, you would only be getting a PlayStation because you're a diehard fan of Sony and just that ecosystem. Because there's no one in their right mind from like a value perspective that would choose that if the first party titles weren't there. Now
you're 100% right. I think I would be one of those people. I would just go, well, I'll go where the better value is.
Right. And so would I, right? And again, I probably won't buy any console this generation unless Sony can hit me with a $299 price point and I have the extra money, then sure. So I could play some of the next gen first party titles. But outside of that, like I will not spend the money on the discless version just because I save a little bit of money. There's not enough value there for me. But I think they need to admit that they have poor infrastructure. I think they need to admit that they have a poor services department and say, like, we're doing really well over here and we know we're struggling here and this is where our investment's going to go. But I don't think they've been that open and honest about it. So I think that's what they would need to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that they need to say, here's a console for $299, but I do think they need to invest in some of these core things that Xbox has always been better at, right? It's always been better at these things. Even when Xbox did have some pretty good first party titles.
Luck, did I tell you the minutia of steps that I had to go through in order to return just a pre-order through Sony? I did.
Yeah, you did.
I did mention that. Oh,
yeah, I mean, just anything in general, right? Like you mentioned the Now service. Their live service is not as robust as Xbox Live. I would argue that even in its worst state, the UI is not as great as Xbox is. You can't even argue Game Pass. Like Game Pass is just leagues ahead, right? So, if in my opinion, if Xbox gets to a point where it's releasing a handful or a couple of good first party titles a year, then Sony's got a problem, in my opinion.
So back in May, I don't know if you guys remember this news article or this report coming out, but Sony and Microsoft actually did announce that they were pairing up for cloud for like Sony was coming to Microsoft for their cloud infrastructure.
Right.
So we haven't seen what that's going to do yet, or,
Well, that's
or
not
the fruits of that,
that's not going to be interface based. That
or gaming related.
no,
or
all
even
the,
like
no, yeah. I think no. I think that announcement was just that Sony is probably going to broker a deal to use the space for their own stuff. That doesn't mean that
right.
that doesn't mean that the user interface is going to improve and that the experience is going to improve.
No, I'm
It
not.
just
I'm
means
not
they're
talking about the user interface in general. I'm talking about the technology behind, let's say, like xCloud, for example. If that can make their service better, which xCloud apparently already performs pretty great from all reports, like they could improve on their own infrastructure that way.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And
But I don't know. We haven't seen the fruits of that yet. So
No, I don't think they're ready to share that type of work yet. But I think it's necessary.
right.
I mean, I don't know though. I mean, first party titles have been carrying them for a long time.
This whole generation for sure.
Because they've had heavy hitters. They really have. They've knocked it out of the park for a long time. But I would argue that eventually it's going to be harder and harder for them to come up with new IP, and it's going to be, it's harder to impress somebody with a sequel than it is with new IP, because there's a lot to live up to. Last of Us 2 is a perfect example of that. So some of these foundational things that make it successful need to be addressed, in my opinion. So I'm just really excited to see where this goes, like as somebody just witnessing it, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm trying to upgrade my PC in the next 12 months. I'm not worried about a console, so it's going to just be fun to watch it kind of unfold and see what happens this holiday.
Same.
But I'm super impressed with Microsoft. Like I said, I have no idea how they're making any money, and maybe they make so much money everywhere else and they have a huge market share that they're like, fuck it, we could lose some money for a little while if it gets more consoles out there. Maybe that's the play. I don't know, but
it's a good play. Getting consoles in the hands of people means more services to sell. So that ultimately is a great answer for making lots of money. I mean, look, Sony sold the PS4 at a loss for a very long time before. Now, so many people, like most of the people, have a PS4, right?
Right.
That's where they ended up making back all that ground, because they were able to put software in that hardware. So,
right. Yeah. So yeah, more to come. I'm sure we'll report on it again in the future. So
apparently I'm wrong about that.
Anyway, more to come on the conversation. I'm sure we'll hear more in the coming days and weeks as we get closer to holiday and these things are getting closer to release. But the other thing that we wanted to talk about is we wanted to talk about some Nintendo stuff. So I'm going to kind of give it to you guys to kind of jump in and share kind of where we're at with the Nintendo news. And we wanted to talk a little bit about the way Nintendo is handling their business right now. So
last week, Nintendo had one of their directs, right?
I saw it. I actually did my homework.
Oh, you watched? Oh, very nice. So it was Mario year is what they're celebrating.
Yeah, the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, and they announced a lot of cool stuff. Like, I'll just briefly message, like,
some of it was fucking weird, Neo. Just be honest with yourself, dude.
They had like the Mario Kart, like real life AR experience with Mario Kart, which was cool, I guess.
That's for kids. No, that's for kids, man.
It's for kids, for sure.
Kids are gonna love that shit.
They announced a Mario Battle Royale game, which was fun.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, Mario 35, which is 35 players play the Mario game.
I didn't get it either. Didn't get it.
As you kill enemies, it sends it to another person's screen until they die, and it knocks them all out till the last guy standing. So you're just playing Mario Brothers until somebody sends all the enemies into your map, and then
I'm totally gonna play it.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be free for up until March, which is why we're gonna talk about this. They also announced the classic Mario games came to their emulator service. But what they really, the big announcement was their Mario 3D collection, which is a combination of Mario 64.
Great game.
Great game. Amazing game. Mario Sunshine.
Great game.
Mario Galaxy.
Great game.
Great games. They forgot about Mario Galaxy 2. I don't know what happened. But
Right.
the problem with this is, well, I don't know if it's a problem. I think it's a problem that they're going to stop selling this in March of next year for whatever reason. And now this has been a conversation with Nintendo for a long time. The conversation with Nintendo has been...
Just want to make sure.
Go ahead.
I want to make sure. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to make sure I understand what you just said. So, these games are going to release.
They're going to release next week.
Right. Next
or
week.
like in 2 weeks, something like that.
Fantastic. So in September, and in March, like a few months after, they're no longer going to be available for purchase.
Correct.
Physically or digitally.
Correct.
What's that brand that has their like logo on a brick?
What's the brand that has a logo on the brick?
I have no idea.
It's a skate brand, and they physically sold their logo on a brick, and people bought it.
DC. I don't know.
No, they put their logo on all kinds of shit, and people buy
Supreme.
Supreme, yeah. So Nintendo's trying to be the Supreme of the gaming industry.
And I think
Okay.
this move proves it. Wait, let me just
Keep going, please.
Before you go on with this. This has been a problem with Nintendo for a while. Not this specifically, but the conversation with Nintendo that I see is always this. Nintendo has a plethora of games that from years and years and years that are gems. They're gold. They're amazing. People want to play them. But for whatever reason, Nintendo has this huge problem with going, here are the games that you grew up with and love on our current console. Please buy them. We'll make money selling these again.
It honestly, it's never made sense to me. Like I remember getting the Wii, right?
Yeah.
And I remember the storefront coming. And I remember getting so excited about all the games that I would get to play because of the digital storefront and the classic collection. And the only game they had was Super Mario World. And I was like,
good game, but that sucks.
Cool, great game, but like, where's the other ones? Right? Like, I don't understand why this is the only one I can buy.
Right.
And and I think they slowly released more, but still not all of them. And it was like really poorly structured and all that. Like it amazes me how they have the best collection of games against any other manufacturer.
Right. And
they don't utilize it.
Now that aside, it's like they treat their property with this like weird like careful handling, right? Like they don't want to they're like Disney in that regard, right? They care about their characters and their branding and everything.
They're gatekeepers. But on the other, that's what they are.
Yeah, pretty much. And on the other side of that, it's like, oh my God, I think I'm about to lose my train of thought. It's like, why are you intentionally withholding these games when you know you will make money off them? You know you'll sell them. People want to buy these games. There's no doubt about that. But for whatever reason, they want to pretend like there's a special nature to them where they can just, no, we won't release them. We'll release these games for a limited amount of time. And then if you miss this window, then bye-bye. Like that was your chance. And then what you do is you open the door for market upsellers, right? People who will buy and resell the game for an inflated price because there's no more copies of this game being made.
I mean, that's what's happening with the Nintendo Switch right now.
Right, of course. Right, and like of course that you're opening a market of like a shitty market for people who are fans of your games to have to wade through almost.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't like. I guess there's more sense in like stuff being removed digitally. Like I guess that I could wrap my head around more, like the digital storefront changing. Not that that's a good idea or makes sense, but I guess it makes more sense for them to see that versus like, well, I no longer going to print discs.
Well, I can see
no longer,
For me, I can see it the other way around. Like I understand when they were like, well, we don't want to print this forever, like print this disc forever. We'll just let you buy it digitally on our storefront where
That
it can
makes
live.
sense too. But
Right,
regardless,
you know.
like it shouldn't be 6 months and then you lose
Right.
access to it. Like,
And I think kind of the harder part for me to grasp is that this is during kind of like a tumultuous time in our economy due to the pandemic that we're going through. So you're giving people this short window of time to choose whether or not they want to play this game on modern hardware, which is also kind of a problem for me at least.
yeah, no, I agree. I think it's a really bad business decision.
They're going to sell it by the buttloads, obviously.
I mean,
but
they
like,
would regardless, you know, like they would, they'd be selling a ton of these games without the limited release schedule. It's a very misguided business decision, and it kind of sucks to see because the Switch was such a hero when it came out, was so well received. It was an underdog from a hardware perspective, but it sold, and everyone loved it. And some of the first party titles that they've been able to come out with have been tremendous. It almost seems like they're trying to capitalize on a good situation by doing something so utterly ridiculous.
right.
You know, it's
Frustrating as someone who likes Nintendo games, like myself at least, speaking for myself, that there are all these games, like again, like Mario Galaxy 2 is missing from this collection. That's fine, but like the preservation of games is also kind of an important thing to a lot of people. Like a lot of these old games aren't like as we move into these newer generations and we keep progressing our technology with the Xbox and the PlayStation, all that, we're going to find ourselves getting further away from these older games, right? So for them not to
will they though? Will the fan of a Nintendo Switch get away from those old games? I don't think they will. I think
what do you say? How do you say that?
I think it's Nintendo's bread and butter. Like,
but the problem with Nintendo is that they aren't giving the fans these older games on their newer hardware, or giving them a way to play it at least. Unless you have
can clearly release the game 15 years later, and we still really want it. So I guess what Felix is saying is like, we may start playing other games, but as soon as they drop that, you know, carrot, we're there.
We're in.
It doesn't matter how long. Or,
like Nintendo.
And of course, I'm gonna get this game. Like I'm gonna get this 3-pack.
Nintendo.
I heard you can get Galaxy 2 from March till August, so don't worry.
Great, I can't wait.
Neo, Nintendo builds their brand around characters like fucking Disney does. They do the exact same thing, and they're doing exactly the same business model that Disney did with the goddamn princess movies, the Vault movies and shit. Like I think they're kind of leaning into that
their
now.
Properties like the Vault. Right?
Yeah, they're releasing their shit and then they're taking their shit away to make. I wouldn't be surprised if they created the Nintendo Vault.
Oh, of course they did.
I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's so interesting how they've catered to their consumer in such a positive way with the games they've created, with what the Switch is, that they nailed all of that perfectly, right? Like, they know who their consumer is, and they got everybody to buy a Switch, and they, again, created some great titles. But then, again, like when it comes to infrastructure and services and taking it a step further, they just fall flat every time. They've been that way for forever, though. That's never changed. They're definitely lagging behind even Sony in that department.
Right.
Yeah, it's just like it's such a misguided business decision.
Yeah, I mean, like they've been holding on to like a game that I've been dying from them to re-release for years now. Games that I haven't gotten to play since they came out. The Metroid Prime games. Those are games that like I've desperately wanted to play again.
Those were on Super Nintendo?
No, those were GameCube. The first two were on GameCube, and the third one was on Wii.
Oh, okay.
But I never got to play those, and I never had a Wii, so I missed out on that whole generation, pretty much. So I never played Galaxy, so like that's why I'm very excited to do this.
But you played
never played Sunshine either.
You played the Metroid games that were on the Nintendo and Super Nintendo.
Correct. I played all of those a lot. And some of them are on the Switch right now. Like Super Metroid is there. Like I can play that, which is great. But yeah, they still withhold like all these games, and I don't know.
I mean, withhold.
I guess that's a strong word.
No, it's not. I mean,
yeah.
it happens
Constraining?
everywhere,
I mean,
right? Like limiting the
creating supply and demand.
creating the supply and demand is something that is the bread
And the
and
demand
butter
is
of
up for their
capitalism.
games, right?
I mean, like
It's
all
a
they're
strategy. It's an
doing
economic
is, I mean,
strategy.
it happens everywhere. I mean, look at the sneaker market. Look at the right now the bourbon market.
I told you, Supreme
Like,
is a great example.
Supreme.
is a
Yeah,
great
you just made me
example.
think of Supreme again.
I mean, you have, I mean, the shoe, like just the shoe market in general, right? Like there are plenty of sneakers if they wanted them to be plentiful, but that doesn't drive the price point and that doesn't drive the hype. It's the same way with things that like you're seeing the bourbon market explode, right? Like they could create and bottle more liquor if they wanted to, but that doesn't inflate the price point and doesn't create hype and
Yeah,
demand.
you don't want to flood the market. Right?
So it's this, but I don't think that works the same way for games. I think it's silly. There's a big difference between this and like someone trying to buy the demo version of PT on a PlayStation, right? Like there's a difference between that and this, right? Like this just seems like someone somewhere thought it was a good idea for whatever reason, which I will never understand. And they were like, yeah, let's go for it and see what happens. And I hope the internet roasts them for it and continues to roast them for it.
They should.
And hopefully that allows them to change their decision to say this game will exist forever, like every other fucking video game that's ever existed.
This is purely speculation. But do you think Nintendo? You think the United States? Like, because I don't want to think that we're like the center of the world's universe or whatever. Like, do you think the United States is Nintendo's actual primary market? Because I don't think it is. I think Nintendo's...
I'm sure we're a large market. They're not in China yet. I think they're slowly getting into China.
Yeah, but I would think that the Japanese customers are probably their biggest clientele, right? You know, like all the gamers that live over there probably are the people that they cater to.
Right.
But what do you think their purchasing habits align with that type of strategy?
No, what I'm saying is, do we even know that that's how they're even releasing it there? Like, they're going to make plenty of money. They might be releasing games in Japan as the way Sony and Microsoft release their games on their consoles here. Like, they might utilize the Japanese market as their primary market, and then the American market is like an afterthought. But like, that's all speculation. I don't know. Like,
right.
You know, like that might be the reason why they can withhold games here, because they're already making plenty of money somewhere else. Right. So it doesn't have to be Japan. It could be anywhere, you know?
Right. Well, right. I'm not sure. I don't know if we are their primary market or who they think they're catering to is us in this case. But the fact is like someone in our chat just said Nintendo is always price controlling their games, right, and their releases. Mm-hmm. But the problem with this one specifically is, they have now forced me, the non-pre-order person, to pre-order the game, right? Because now I need to know I can get a copy of this. And then the second thing that's going to happen is the moment I get my hands on this game, and the moment March is over, that game is going to be worth more than what I paid for it. So they literally created a market for this game to be more valuable than the game that, like, this never happens. Games depreciate right away. Just talk to GameStop, right? Like, they're going to take $15 for your brand new copy of whatever. But now they just created a market where now this game will be worth more because no one else can buy it from Nintendo anymore. Like, it's kind of a weird situation that...
I wonder how GameStop feels about this move.
Right? I don't know. Let's go ask them.
I wonder what a suit GameStop land feels about this type of business decision.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna tell every customer who comes in to pre-order it is what they'll do, just like they always do.
Right.
And they have better reasons for it this time because they can't buy it after a certain time and they might not get more copies then. So
I wonder if they'll give a good price to you if you decide to trade it in, or if they'll still try and fucking give you a nickel for the game.
That is a great question.
And then sell it for 500 times the cost. I think this is another one that we're going to have to follow. I feel like everything we've covered in the past few weeks are all things that are going to be a continued conversation as the weeks go on.
I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, I mean they've been big points that I think warrant follow up. Like there's going to be major fallout for this type of decision, whether it's successful or not successful, or how gamers take it.
I hope it doesn't set a precedent, which is what I always worry about. I'm worried about the precedent this sets, because if it is successful and they do say, "Oh, we can do this more often with our old games," then
Right,
I'm
which is
worried that this is going to happen
Yeah.
more often. Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. It's going to be successful.
Right, of course it is.
We've already decided that everyone is going to buy this game.
Yeah.
So it's going to sell units. What will really drive whether or not the strategy is successful is if they keep their eye on the secondary market. Because if they see the secondary market continue to drive sales, then they know that people were buying more titles to flip them, and it doesn't matter because their bottom line is still going up. So if we as a collective group of gamers decide to participate in the secondary market,
That phrase you just said,
what?
impossible. We as gamers can't agree on anything.
No.
Or we can't stand in one position and go, this is our line, right?
Sure, but no, what I'm saying is when I say the collective we, I mean if enough of us decide to buy this game for secondary prices as a consumer, then we are allowing it to be successful. So if I choose to not buy the game when it's released and I choose to buy it later because now I feel like I'm missing out, or I really, really want it now for whatever reason, then we're allowing it to exist the same way why the sneaker market exists. The same reason why bourbon resale exists, because as consumers of these products, we decide that we're okay with that because we want it that bad. What's interesting with this, and I don't know if maybe I blacked out during the explanation of this or not, but are they limiting how many they're selling up front, or they're just saying it's going away?
It's going away.
Right. So if there's enough for everyone to get one that wants one for that amount of time, well, then that's very different than, all right, folks, there's 10,000 copies that exist. Good luck. Right. Like that's very different. And that's how like sneakers work. And that's how like other markets work right now, is supply and demand.
It's not like with digital copies of the game, there's a limit to how many they have.
Right.
So it's like,
that's exactly
if
what
it's a
we're saying,
time window to get it, then you just fucked up and didn't get it. That's your fault.
It doesn't make it okay by any means. But what I'm saying is if there's enough for everyone between that time period, then that's at least something. But if they say, yep, first 10,000 people to download it from our store, and then it.
No more. Yeah, that's.
Oh my god, I would flip.
And that's point
different.
that's like selling fucking concert tickets.
10,000. That 10,000 is a low ball number. It would probably be more like 50 or more. But anyway,
get your digital copy of Mario. Get your digital copies of Mario here.
Because
and a soft pretzel.
Yeah, because that's true supply and demand, right? Like you limit the supply. It's not like everyone that waits in line to get a new release of Jordans, everyone gets one and then they go up on resale. No, it's the first 50 people through the door get them. So in any case, this isn't good for consumers. It isn't good for gamers. I'm glad they're remaking the titles. I think that's amazing. I hope the game is successful.
What was the one we're talking about? Was that the first?
64 was the first one.
The first 3D Mario game.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Super Mario 64, because that came out on the N64, and that jet ski game came out at the same time, right? Or around the same time?
Probably.
Remember that? You remember that game? I had both of those.
It's not Wave Race.
Wave
64.
Run.
It's Wave something. It's Wave something.
Wave Runner
right.
64 or something like that.
No, it's. Oh my god, what is it? I know. I can see it in my brain.
So
Kevin Oates would know what it is.
Yeah, he would know.
Wave
what it
Race.
is.
Wave Race 64.
Wave Race.
So I had that game, and I had Mario World. That
Sunshine was GameCube.
That,
right.
Yep. And then Galaxy
was
Super Mario 64, I think, was the first experience I ever had with a 3D game. I never played 3D prior to that. And it was like, because I remember I was just like using the two thumbsticks, like trying to figure it out. I was like, The fuck?
Well, there
I
was-
feel like I'm drunk.
Well, there was still one thumbstick, but the camera.
Oh,
Was,
yeah, the one
was-
thumbstick.
tried to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, it tried to
You're
be
like this.
automatic.
So
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And like, and your natural instinct is when the camera goes up is to also follow. You know, like you're turning your body and shit because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. That was me doing
Yeah.
that. I don't know how old I was at that time.
Yeah, that game set the standard for a lot of the games we play today, which is
Yeah.
pretty great.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
So we'll follow up on it. I'm sure there'll be more to talk about with this in the coming weeks. Cool. I think that does it for our episode, boys.
Yeah, we
Wraps
did it,
up,
buds.
baby.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for listening. If you are listening to this through the audio, please make sure to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/emergent_gamer. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel and subscribe. We would greatly appreciate the subscription there on our YouTube channel.
All episodes are getting updated right now, and on top of that, I uploaded the entire Star Wars tabletop stream that I did to our YouTube channel.
Nice.
So if you
Very
want to see that, that is also there. It was a fun
Awesome.
time.
And please definitely tell your friends if you're already subscribed. You know, that's the only way to Grassroots get the word out that we exist. So just tell people.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for listening. You can find me on Twitter at lock_key. See you guys next week.
See ya. My name is Neo Ayoshi. Follow me Neo_Ayoshi and twitch.tv/NeoAyoshi. Just playing all kinds of games. My stream setup has been upgraded, guys. I'm so excited to see all the improvements I've made to it, and I hope you guys check it out too because it looks fresh. Felix.
Love it.
I don't know when, but at some point, my schedule at work is going back to normal hours. So I'll probably be back to streaming when that happens. It's going to be sometime at the end of the month, I think. But I'm probably going to come back 2 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday mornings again, live streaming, and maybe other days, but who knows. But my primary thing is to play, solo, solitary games where I just sit alone. If you want to join me.
With no musical background now.
I can't do any music anymore because of Twitch. Fuck you. But, that's what I'm doing. So that's good. Yeah, I'm not going to have fun. I'm not going to have fun coming back to streaming, dude. It's not going to be enjoyable.
Everyone loves you for what you just described. So I don't know why you're upset about it. That's the whole reason why people join your stream. Dope.
We have solutions for you. We'll talk about it, okay?
Kevin Oates, first stream Fallout 4 mods. Fuck you, Kevin Oates.
All right. We'll see you next week.
All right. Later.
Talk to you.